Hey everyone, welcome to Blue Heron Hill. Back in the kitchen again today. I'm Sue, welcome to the channel. I'm glad you stopped by today. We are going to be talking about cranberries. Now, most produce you can get any time of the year. You can get strawberries whenever you want. You can get blueberries whenever you want. Raspberries whenever you want. Lots of things all year round because we're such a global economy that they come from different parts of the country and they're there for when we want them. But cranberries, it seems, are only there for a specific period of time. Usually it is October through the end of December. And then after that, you don't see them in the produce stand at all. So you have to, or at least I do because I love cranberries, I have to take advantage of their season and get as many as I can. And usually I'll freeze them. If you take a look in the stores after Christmas, right after Christmas, they'll usually have their cranberries on sale if they've bought too many of them. And at that point in time, it's good to stock up on them and plop them in the freezer for having your cranberry needs all year long. I love cranberry sauce and I love cranberry juice. So I'm going to take you along today and show you how I make my cranberry sauce and also 2 different ways of preserving cranberries as juice. Both of these methods will produce cranberry juice, but one will be a more concentrated one and one will be almost a ready to drink cranberry juice. But they're both long-term that you can store in your pantry, canned up, and you can have them in the springtime or in the summer before the cranberries will come on again in the fall. First off, we are going to do cranberry sauce. Now, I like whole cranberry sauce, but this recipe is easy enough that you can make it into a cranberry jelly. Now, cranberries are very acidic, and they contain a lot of pectin. So you don't need a lot of you don't need a lot of sugar for the pectin, but you might want some sugar for the juice, the cranberries itself, because these are rather tart. And so I'm going to start out here. I'm going to make a huge batch. I hope to can maybe about 6 to 7 pints of cranberry sauce that I'll be able to use throughout the year. Okay, I'm going to start with a pot. First of all, I'm starting with what do we got there? 6 cups of water. And then I have, about 4 cups of sugar. Now the recipe kind of calls for an equal amount of water and sugar. But I don't like that much sugar in my juices or in my cranberry sauce. So I've reduced the sugar just a little bit. I'm going to put this on the stove and we're going to incorporate the water and the sugar so the sugar all kind of melts and forms a syrup before we put our whole cranberries in there. So let me get that on the stove right now and get that cooking. Now here's our syrup on the stove. Now you may think that this looks a little dark. I'm using cane sugar and it has a little bit of a darkness to it. That's because it's not as fully processed as white sugar. And so it takes on a little bit of a brown hue. But that's not a problem. It's still sugar, it's still good. And in this application, it's going to be just fine. Once this comes to a simmer, we're going to let it simmer for about 5 minutes, just so the sugar is fully dissolved into the water. My sugar water has been simmering for 5 minutes, and now I'm going to add in 8 cups of cranberries. Ooh. Fresh or frozen cranberries are fine. We're going to bring this to a boil and simmer it for 15 minutes, and at that time I'm going to add 2 cinnamon sticks and some orange peel. Now this is dried orange peel. I prefer to have orange zest, but I don't have any oranges in the house right now. So when this comes up to a boil, this goes in and we count for 15 minutes. Almost to a boil, and if you listen carefully, you can hear those cranberries pop. Just about at that point where I'm gonna drop in my 2 cinnamon sticks and that orange peel, dried orange peel. Now, if you are going to use fresh orange zest, I would put it in just about a minute before it's all done, so you don't cook all that flavor right out. But this is dried, so it's more intense, and it should, ooh, listen to that pop. The berries are bursting their skins. Okay, that was 15 minutes. Now you can jar this up just as it is, like this, with all of these whole berries in it. Or you can use an immersion blender and break some of this up a little bit. I don't mind the whole berries. I like it a little bit, but for demonstration purposes, I'll just put my immersion blender in here and we'll break some of these large berries up. Now, if you don't like the whole berries, now's the time you can just put it through a strainer as you're putting it into your jars, and it will turn more as a jelly. And that is just fine. It's all to your liking. So let's get this jarred up. Important to debubble. Don't want any air bubbles in this. Cranberries have tiny little seeds in them. They're almost like a raspberry. So you don't want any of those seeds to get on this rim to cause your lids to fail. Now these are going to go in my steam canner, or you have a water bath canner. They'll go in your water bath canner for processing time of 15 minutes according to my altitude, which is 1,000 feet or under. So I'll see you when I take them out of the canner. Okay, I have 6 pints of cranberry sauce all ready to go. I guess that's my first step in preparation for a Thanksgiving dinner. Cranberry sauce is all done. I got a long way to go, but since we're talking about cranberries, next we're going to talk about making cranberry juice. One is a super simple method, and it makes a lightly sweetened cranberry juice. And the second method is a concentrated unsweetened cranberry juice. Now, most people's preference goes to the sweetened side and lighter in concentration. I personally like the concentrated juice. I don't drink it that way, but I use a small amount and add it to different beverages. So, but I'll take you through both of those different methods. First of all, we're going to be doing the simple one. And the simple one requires some sugar. The second one, the concentrated one, does not. Starts out with about 1.5 cups of cranberries. in each jar. Now there's no real big recipe to this one. Make it as concentrated as you want, but have at least about 1.5 cups of cranberries in each jar. The next thing, and the most important thing, is putting sugar in here, because the juice will not form without sugar. The sugar helps break open, I guess, and extract the juice of the cranberries. Here again, you can add as much sugar as you wish, but at least 1/4 cup is needed in each one of these quart jars in order to do the job of extracting the juice from the berries. I'm going to start with, since I am not a big sweet juice person, I'm going to start with, less than 1/2, but more than 1/4. So I guess that would be about 1/3. And all you do is just pour it in. I love that cinnamon flavor in cranberries. Like I put the cinnamon sticks. You could probably put a whole stick in this, but I don't have enough sticks to go into 7 quarts. So I'm going to just use some ground cinnamon, probably about, somewhere between 1/4 and 1/2 teaspoon in each one. Just a wee bit. There we go. And now the next thing we do is just going to fill this with hot water. We're going to leave 1/2 inch headspace on all of these jars. Now this is going to go in your water bath canner for 25 minutes, and that's for an altitude of under 1,000 feet. Now the way that this process differs from the unsweetened one in a number of ways is that when this comes out, it's not going to look like cranberry juice. It's going to be a little pinky, not as deep cranberry red as you think it should be. And that's because the juices haven't been fully extracted from those cranberries. And it's going to take, now wait for it, 4 to 6 weeks before the juice is ready to drink. So you just have to think about how you want to do this. But we're going to do the next cranberry juice in a different method. So here is our cranberry juice. It's already darkening up a whole lot. So I have 7 quarts of this plus the cranberry sauce that I made too. And now we are going to start another cranberry juice. This is going to be look at all those. Okay. This is going to be a cranberry juice that's highly concentrated. Now you can sweeten it if you wish. I haven't quite decided yet if I'm going to throw a little sugar into those quart jars or not. But we'll see. I may just go unsweetened with this. So about ready to start here. This is close to about 3 pounds of cranberries. So, and they've all been washed, and I picked over the ones. There always are some that are a little off color or so, and I picked those out. We're going to put in 4 quarts of water. Okay, I'm going to set this on the stove and bring it not to a boil, but just bring it to a simmer. And then I'm going to simmer it for about 5 to 10 minutes or so, just so those berries will start popping their skins. Okay, my timer went off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to strain these cranberries into a big pot here. You can use cheesecloth. I would double or triple it up a little bit. This colander has pretty wide holes in it. I do have this. This is a very ancient method. I don't know if you see these anymore. I think I have too many cranberries to fit into this. So I am going to use this colander, but I also have what's called a jelly bag. This is a little bit finer than cheesecloth. I use these because we make wine and we put the grapes and everything in this, and it strains out a lot of the pulp, so you don't get a lot of pulp. I don't mind pulp in my cranberry juice, but for these purposes of an audience, I am going to strain it through a jelly bag. So this has been simmering for 10 minutes, and carefully strain it off. Make sure you have a big enough pot to contain all the liquid. I'm going to let this just drain a little bit, and then afterwards there's still a lot of juice left in these cranberries, and some of them haven't even popped yet. Now, if you've never cooked cranberries before, they do pop, and it's really it's fun. It's almost as fun hearing the cranberries pop as to hearing the lids on your canning jars pop or ping. So give this a try if you've never cooked cranberries before. The moisture inside the cranberry heats up as you heat them up, and the steam that it produces then ruptures the skin of the cranberries. So I'm going to let this drip for just a little bit longer, and then I'm going to put the pulp back into my pot here. I think I'm going to need to get something to ladle all of this pulp out and put it back in here. Now, since these cranberries are going to release, they have a lot more juice to release. In the first batch, I put in 4 quarts of water. In this batch, I'm going to put in 2 quarts of water. I will bring it to a boil, or just a simmer again, and go for another 5 to 10 minutes to extract even more juice from these skins of these cranberries. We may have to do it one more time. It all depends upon the color. The colors of the skins give the cranberries that rich, deep cranberry red color. And these are already losing a lot of their red. But we'll see after the second simmering what they look like and how concentrated our berry juice is. All right, this has simmered for about another 10 minutes, and I'm going to strain these next. Now, if you can see in the bottom of this pot, I don't know if you can see that clearly enough, those are all seeds in that liquid down in the bottom. So it would be pretty important to use cheesecloth or some kind of a straining device to strain off all of those seeds, because you really don't want those in your cranberry juice. So there's still, even though the color has significantly lightened here. I still think that there's some more juice to be had in this pulp. So I am going to transfer my pulp back into my pan. And in this pan, I'm going to put in some more water, but this time half as much as I did before. Now I use filtered water, so I guess that would be up to you as to what you use. Okay, back on the stove for another 5 minutes at minimum. 5 minutes, and I think this is probably about done. Extracting as much of this cranberry juice as we can possibly extract from all of these berries. I'm just going to have to let this strain for, I don't know, 10-15 minutes to get all the juice possible out of this pulp. It's still pretty liquid here, and I want to extract as much as I possibly can. And then we're on to our next step. This is a more lengthy process than the other cranberry juice that we made. And so that's why that one is probably more popular than this one. But this is going to give you a nice concentrated cranberry juice. And that's usually how I use it, because I put a small amount of the concentrate in a glass with water, or even like seltzer, sparkling water, something like that. Give it a little fizz. And it just adds that wonderful punch of cranberry. Just going to take the whole bag, squeeze a little bit. As much juice as I can. I think that's pretty good. Okay. Ooh, a whole pot of gorgeous looking strained cranberry juice. Now, it needs to be heated again. So right now, I'm going to put this back in my pan. I'm going to put this on the burner, bring it to about 180, 170, 180, and then I'm ready to jar it up. Now, I could at this point, when it was on the stove, add some sugar to it and sweeten it a little bit. But once you do that, since cranberries have a lot of pectin in it, once you do that, this may gel on you. So I thought I'm just going to leave it this way and sweeten it when I use it. I'm putting a little sieve on top of my funnel, just in case there's any little pulpy stuff that comes through, that came through. Doesn't that look beautiful? Ooh. All right, that's going to process in my steam canner for about 10 minutes. And once it gets up to the proper spot on my dial, and then we'll take it out, wrap this up, and you go to the store and buy some cranberries. Just out of the canner, 5 quarts of unsweetened cranberry juice to add to my sweetened cranberry juice and to my cranberry sauce. So this is a super simple way of making cranberry juice in this this type here. So simple, but you have to wait 4-6 weeks or so before you can drink this. This ready to go right away, although it's a little hot right now. And I didn't add any sugar to it. And cranberries, you know, are so tart that I probably will have to sweeten this a little bit with sugar, with honey, you know, the sweetener of your choice. And cranberry sauce, of course, is ready to go with jars for any time of year. And it's better than that tin can jellied stuff. So good. Very few products go into this to make it so delicious. So thanks for following along on this video. If you liked it, give me a thumbs up. Pass it along to anybody that might be interested in this content. So until the next time that we can go cooking in the kitchen, because I don't think we're going to be digging in the dirt outside. Bye now.